Hi, and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship Uncovered, where we discuss the beauty and challenges of entrepreneurship. I'm Gabrielle Luma, CPA, CGMA, and CEO of Mod Ventures, and today I'm excited to have Candice Frazer from AlphaRev. Before we start, let me tell you just a little bit about Mod Ventures. Mod Ventures is an outsourced accounting and advisory company for businesses across the United States. We offer operational accounting to small businesses struggling to understand their finances. Candace, welcome. I'm
Thanks,
so
Gab.
excited to have you on board today so we can discuss all the things about entrepreneurship and your experiences over the years in marketing and revenue. Um, for lack of a better word, zhuzhing. Is
Zhuzhing.
that
I love it.
you just used
Yes.
the word zhuzhing, so I'm going to steal it. But yeah, so welcome. Thank you so much
Yep.
for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I think it's going to be a great conversation.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Um, so Candace, give us a little bit of background of you. Like,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
us all about you. So we,
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's always tricky when someone says, like, tell me about you, because where do you start? Do you start personally? Do you start professionally? Do you start aspirationally? Um, and I never know where to begin on those. But what I will say is I am deeply grateful. I'm a deeply grateful human being on the whole. I love to learn. I have a really strong drive to get things done. That has served me well in entrepreneurship, and it is both, an asset and sometimes a vice. So, as
yes,
most of us kind of experience. So I've got
yeah,
that strong drive. And I also seek to be present with every single person that I'm with. So that's a little bit about me and who I am and kind of how I try to show up. I am the founder of AlphaRev,
yeah.
and we are a revenue consultancy that helps to return revenue to those who have earned it.
Oh, I like it. I
Mhm.
like it. Yeah, there's all kinds of different types of strategies and things you can do in order to, increase your revenue or just keep track of it or, all the things around revenue, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, so yeah, you launched not too long ago,
Mhm.
AlphaRev, and have um, really jumped into entrepreneurship very quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw you a couple months ago at a women's entrepreneurial group, and you were talking about what you're gonna do, and now you got clients and things are moving, and that's exciting.
Yeah, things have definitely been trucking along. I definitely jumped into the deep end and I'm figuring out that I could swim.
Yeah.
I think in this journey when we decide to go from a W-2 employee to entrepreneurship, as was my journey. I know there are others out there that were entrepreneurs from the onset, right? They could never even think about working for someone else. They wanted to build their own wealth, their own capability. I came the other way. I came as a W-2 employee, saw a number of different things. I saw what made businesses successful. I saw what made businesses not successful, and really started to develop a passion for the top line, for revenue growth,
Hmm.
and for revenue, and building not only stability for them, but also predictable systems so that they can continue to harvest their revenue. So
Hmm.
going that W-2 route and then into entrepreneurship was a very wild experience. It's the only word I could find to kind of
Yeah.
explain that.
Yeah.
Um,
How did you get the courage to do that?
well, I had an opportunity where I helped to build a business that I was working with up to a certain level, built their systems in place, and then basically said, I think I've done what I needed to do here. And
Hmm.
they agreed. I had built the system, I had trained up the people to be able to run the system. and
Mhm.
was then looking for my next challenge.
Mm.
As I was considering my next challenge, I was thinking, okay, I could jump into another business and do this one at a time. And every 2 to 3 years, build enough of a system in place for these organizations. And then I'll have to go out and do it again one at a time. Or I could be really bold and help multiple businesses at once.
Mhm.
What I found in the world and in specifically B2B professional services firms where
Yeah.
there's really strong relationships is that there were two things that were happening simultaneously. On one side, I found business owners that were essentially saying, what is my ROI on this marketing thing? Or how many more bodies can I throw at this sales activity? Or
Yeah.
how do we onboard them differently and create this experience for our customers? But fundamentally coming back to the ROI, like what am I really getting for this? Customer acquisition costs being really high, really kind of beating up sales teams in some
Yeah.
cases,
Hmm.
or not being able to drive a sales accountability in others, right? So it's very, very complex. So these business owners are asking, where's the ROI? How do I get the return? How do I get it quickly? The other side of that, Gabby, something to know about my background that I don't know that I've shared with you kind of off screen before, but here we're doing it now, is I was actually born in operations
Oh,
and
okay.
raised in marketing. So I started my career at Verizon in field operations in New York.
Uh,
So
okay.
um, I have this very operational systemizing mindset that has been kind of built from the onset that I
Right.
then applied in marketing. And
Hmm.
then as time has gone on, I've gotten closer and closer to sales and to business development, and then also customer success.
Hmm.
So being able to help business owners with this ROI becomes really important. On the other side, I'm seeing lots of people. I'm very passionate about women in entrepreneurship as well. And on the other side, when I look at the talent supply, um, I'm seeing lots of really smart, savvy people who are
Hmm.
having a really hard time
Hmm.
landing somewhere meaningful. And so on one side, I want to help business owners really get the ROI that they're looking for. And then on the other side, I want to help individuals who are revenue focused like I am that maybe don't know how to show that ROI, how to get that ROI, and to take the actions to get the ROI.
Yeah.
So it's two different camps that I want to help in a really profound way.
Hmm.
So on one hand, as someone that was deciding what their next move was, I could do it one at a time and help a
Yeah.
few people land their jobs and a few business owners, maybe even one at a time, or I could do this with quite a few more and
Right.
started AlphaRev.
Hmm.
Um, so AlphaRev came into existence to serve these two groups, and we're on our way.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I love the idea that you come from operations because a lot of times there is so much talent in the operations realm, and they just have to be shown the dots to connect in order to actually affect revenue, right?
that's right. That's
And
right.
so when we talk about our accounting and what we do, I like to say we're operational as well because we're showing numbers that, are affecting revenue and how you can kind of pull certain levers in order to make that happen. So when you're talking about operations and affecting revenue, that's exactly what I see. It's like the wrench that's just making
Exactly.
tweaks here and there.
Exactly. And what I really love is putting owners or decision makers into the position of getting control of their revenue capabilities again. Your
Mhm.
point on like pulling the lever or, turning a wrench in a certain direction or hitting the throttle, right? Or I want to pull back because I'm getting a certain type of client when I do a specific activity or a different one. Like I want to be able to accelerate or to slow it down.
Yeah.
So often business owners are like full throttle, let's go. And then they're like, what?
Yes.
They don't have the ability to pull back. So in the same way that mod is helping them to get back in control, AlphaRev does the same thing
Yeah.
on top line side.
Yeah. That's really, really, really cool. We both have been around Arizona growth advisors for quite some time. So
Mhm.
they had a gentleman in there was like talking about the chief revenue officer. And I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I think that that's going to be a major role, going forward in some businesses. They start thinking about that. Usually the CEO kind of, you know, is the person that's like, wait a minute, from the top level, where are we going with this? And tends to be kind of in a lot of realms, chief revenue officer. And so
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
excited to see that that role may be splitting out a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think that it is. And there's also something that's really interesting, and I get kind of passionate about this, so pull me off of this soapbox, Gabby.
okay.
But um in the space that I've worked in, I see the title Chief Revenue Officer as essentially a reinvention of the Chief Sales Officer or the head of sales,
Oh, I
right?
see. Yeah, no, I can see the connection, right? It's not the
And
same.
I see that happening so much, and it's like I think this is like there's somebody somewhere. I suspect it might be Silicon Valley, but somebody somewhere is saying, "Oh, we need to innovate. We need to create new activities. So we're gonna create this new phrase that people are gonna jump behind, right? So I'm gonna create the chief revenue officer, which is really a chief sales officer. We're going to not have a chief marketing officer anymore. Now we're going to have a chief customer officer,
Oh,
or this chief growth officer, right? So they're like we're getting really creative with some of that phrasing, which
I
I
hope so.
think, I mean, have you heard them? You've
Yes,
heard some of these titles.
yes, yes, yes.
So they keep coming through, and we're hearing all these different things, and I think um, a rose by any other name will smell just as sweet.
Right.
What are the actual things that these businesses are doing in order to grow their revenue in a sustainable way?
Hmm.
Sustainable meaning, how do I reduce my customer acquisition cost? How do I increase the or actually decrease the amount of time that it takes for me to close a deal? And how do I increase the amount of deals that I'm closing? Like
Hmm.
that's where AlphaRev comes in and asks those critical questions by recycling the activities that have been done over time to actually harvest the opportunities that are silent, sometimes sleeping, that business owners can awaken.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So, without getting too far into those different roles and titles, you started to allude to what AlphaRev does, and so part of that, what I'm hearing is like identifying certain revenue leaks where things may not be being captured. And
Yes.
so, what types of situations have you seen that you've been able to solve for?
Yeah. Yeah. So a few different frameworks, and I'm happy to share this with your audience too. And
Sure.
by all means, let them take it and run with it and figure it out. And if they need help, I'm here to help guide them. But there were five different ways that Alpha Rev helps our clients to capture the opportunities hidden in plain sight or stop those leaks. So the first one is making sure that you've got a really strong retention rate. I say keep the clients that you have. You want them continuing to buy. You want them continuing to choose you in
Right.
everything that you do. The
Hmm.
second one is getting those who are staying with you to buy more, to buy different, to buy more profitable in some cases. Some will call this cross sell, upsell. That language feels really icky for a buyer.
Hmm.
So what we want to do, this is a really common phrase used by Rick McPartland, who's a mentor of mine. He says transfer monetizable value. So we want to offer additional value to the people that already buy from us in a
Hmm.
way that they would be willing and happy to pay for it.
Hmm.
So expansion, wallet expansion in some cases.
Sure.
The third technique in terms of creating a sustainable revenue system is winbacks. And winbacks can look like those who have worked with you in the past that maybe no longer work with you. But because your business is evolving, new people coming in, some people leaving, or new offers, new products, maybe worth going back to those individuals not just those companies, but those individuals to say, hey, we're different, right? And so there's a revenue leak where we may not even be conducting an effective exit interview to understand why they're leaving us in the first place. So when
Mm,
we solve for it in the future, we can actually reach out to them in a meaningful way. So win backs is the critical strategy. The fourth one is referrals.
mm,
And looking not just at customer referrals, not just saying at the end of agreement, saying, I'm glad you're so happy. Will you send other people just like you my way? But also, how do you create circles of influence, strategic referral partners, so
mm,
that you can help them and they can help you?
mm,
That's the fourth technique. The fifth technique that AlphaRev focuses on is looking at a lost deals analysis. This is a little bit like winbacks, except these people never converted with you before,
right.
but they may be in your pipeline, they might be in your head, they might be on a Google spreadsheet somewhere. But
Mm,
being able to look at them too historically and say, how have we evolved and how might we serve them?
mm,
So, in my experience, where a lot of businesses love to start is with winbacks and referrals. They
got
love starting there. But the way that I listed them out, where we keep them, we grow them, we win them back, get more referrals or refer them, and then we go back to lost deals.
mm,
Those are in order of what's least expensive to most expensive for the business.
gotcha.
So, in my experience, the strongest business looking to build a holistic system and a holistic strategy start with making sure they're keeping who they got.
Right, right. I love that. It's always been kind of my thing to try to evolve so that our clients have new services or new things that they can, be buying from us. And so, I mean, we've been very fortunate and work really hard to ensure that majority of our clients stay with us and have for over many, many years. But I love that you're mentioning the next level of revenue capture would be to, not necessarily upsell. I hear what you're saying.
Right?
Upsell feels
Yeah.
very much like the McDonald's, like, hey, do you want an apple pie type of thing. I worked at
Right.
McDonald's for years and
Oh
that was
my God.
the thing. Like you always like, hey, do you want an apple pie with that? So
Right. Right.
it's
Or
in
do
my
you want it?
blood.
You got a medium fry. Do you sure you don't want a large? It's just
Yeah,
15
would you
cents
like to
more, right?
upsize that?
Which
Right.
right, which is great if you're in a transactional business. When you're in a relational business, it's very different.
Yes.
No one wants to be asked, do you want to super size me or do you want an apple pie with that, right? Like
Right.
they're like, well, no, how are you even addressing my needs? So it's
Right.
really from a B2B standpoint, which is where AlphaRev focuses, it's figuring out what are those critical needs and how can you help those clients peek around the corners to help them get ahead and then be able to communicate that in a way where the buyer understands the value, values the value that you're
Yeah, of
positioning,
course. That's number one.
and then feels really great, feels like they're getting a great return on that next level of investment based on your guidance.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, upsell, cross sell, very icky language. B2B relational buyers don't want to be upsold. Don't do it, but figure out how you can help them solve other problems and you're well on
Right.
your way.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There was this really, really cheesy video years ago. It's called Service is Selling. And you have these really funny people like dancing. And I swear, if you looked it up on YouTube, you'd probably find it. But Service is Selling, is it? And so service is selling. But it's not selling. It's different, right? It's you're making sure that the needs are being taken care of. And in our realm, that's called being a professional. That's like,
Mhm.
hey, I see this problem. I know I can help you. Yeah, it might be a little bit of an investment, but let's see how we can, upscale this area for you so that we can better serve you, but we can also help your business really, you know.
That's right. That's
And
right. And on the B2B side, the buyers are looking for a few different things that you're really keying in on, which is this concept of helping them to preview their future. Show
Mhm.
me what my future could look like when I'm working with you, but also give me insights and perspectives that I wouldn't ordinarily have because I'm looking at my business with blinders on, right? I'm just focused on building the next house. I'm just focused on selling the next proposal and getting that across the line instead of focusing on that, they're looking to people like Mod Ventures or to AlphaRev to say, show me what I don't know, what's coming up next,
Yeah.
so that we can make them better.
Right. Yeah, it's the future planning.
That's right.
I think
That's
that's
right.
the the way of the world now.
Yeah,
Like they're not necessarily interested that much in what had happened. They're interested in what will happen or how can we make changes so that we can better predict.
that's
Um,
right.
I'm a huge part, a huge advocate for creating and predicting your future. If you are willing to take on that mission, because I think it's important if you want your business to be sustainable. It's
That's
so
right.
so you
And
have to,
be ready, right? Be ready for any of the things that might come up because you've thought through it and you've got expertise in your corner
Mhm.
that is capable of helping you to see that. And right, not only to just preview the future, but give me insights and perspectives that I don't have. So Mod working across a number of different accounts is seeing a lot of different things.
Yes,
It
yeah,
would be extremely savvy of any buyer that you have or any client that you have to say, okay, great, as a part of like the wrap up conversation, or if you're getting onto a call with them, doing a quarterly review or any type of touch base for them to go, hey, what are you seeing out there? Hey,
right,
what's going on? And like, how does that impact my business? And how do I become more well equipped?
right.
That's real power, right? And that's where you moved from someone who's a vendor to
Mhm.
someone who's a trusted advisor, and then beyond a trusted advisor into a cherished advisor
Yeah.
because they
Oh,
help me to see around corners. And
yeah.
I know you, I know what you do. I know that you are a cherished advisor
Hmm.
to your clients.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
great team. Let me just say, they really deliver. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so when you mentioned this in your previous position that you had really implemented all the systems that you needed to, that it was really, set, forget, and as long as they follow that system, they're good to go. Um, do you mind sharing maybe one of those systems that you set up?
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
a little secret.
So yeah, I'll give you a little bit of the secret sauce. This I know to
Okay.
be working. So in one of the business I was working in was about a $3.5 million business. And they had, I call it no pipeline, but it's more like mystical, magical pipeline because they were tracking on spreadsheets. Each individual salesperson was doing that on independently on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And with them, we were able to get them from basically no pipeline or kind of invisible pipeline up to 9 million in pipeline for this $3 million business
Wow.
just by looking at each of those five strategies. But
Wow.
probably one of my favorite approaches was a little bit of this referral, and it was sneaky in the way that it was referral, but not. So when this client won a new client, or when this business won a new client, they celebrated it, and just like anybody else would, right? And sometimes you bang a gong, sometimes you do like a round of applause, and sometimes that conversation typically happens internally. But what can potentially happen when you set it externally? When you start to communicate externally that you've got a partnership with a new client, and let's just say in this instance, a lot of their buyers were on LinkedIn. We celebrated the acquisition of a new client, which leaned us into referral a little bit more. So
Ah,
we would go to LinkedIn, make an announcement that we're really happy to be working with this new client. We would tag the business, we would tag the decision maker, we would tag the single point of contact in this case, and share why we're so excited and celebrate them
mm,
just a little more, right? Like, here's the amazing thing that they do. So that way, our clients were seeing, okay, number one, we're growing our business. But number two, when we're out there and we're celebrating that we're working with them, other people that follow that individual, that follow that business, see that they're now working with this organization, and that becomes a referable moment.
oh, that's
When you it becomes really neat because then you get people starting to comment that are celebrating with you,
mm,
and you start to see those individuals coming through. on more than one occasion, quite a few occasions actually, we've had people respond and then reach out to that business
Uh-huh.
to essentially say, hey, they're working with you and they're really smart. Can we talk?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it becomes a moment of referability and just one of those systems. So when you acquire this new client, what does your sales team do? What does your marketing team do? What does
Right.
your customer success team do in order to make that a referable moment?
Right.
And not from the standpoint of going to that client and be like, now that we inked this deal, will you send more people my way? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't feel good for anybody ever. You might as well tell them you're going to upsell them, right? Like same
Right.
exact thing here.
Right.
No one wants the sham wow of referrals, right? So when you're building these referral systems and creating these moments, these triggers, then you're creating even more opportunities for your business to take advantage of the opportunities hidden in plain sight. That is one of them. And
Oh,
one that to this day is still working. I'm still in touch with the contact that I worked with there. She's doing a phenomenal job. And I'm not surprised at all because she's a great human being. But she, every so often, she's like, got another using this technique. And I'm
wow.
like, it's beautiful.
Oh,
Absolutely beautiful.
now that's a golden nugget.
Yeah.
Honestly, awesome. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah. Please. And everybody else, please, like, let's let the world know the amazing work that's being done and who it's being done with. Because when others can kind of see what you're doing and you're sharing your story in a compelling way, your sales team gets jazzed up, your prospective buyers, visitors get jazzed up, and you create more awareness for your business overall.
Yeah.
It also helps from a biz dev standpoint, right? So if someone reaches out and they're like, I love the work that you're doing,
Yeah.
having your business development people be like, saw your comment, would love to buy you a coffee, want to hear all
Yeah.
about it, right? And then you're
Right.
building more relationships and more opportunity. It just, the whole system has to lock in and understand their role in order to move forward together effectively.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Mhm. It
Love that.
does.
I love
It
those
does.
gifts. All right, so we're going to jump into some of your personal insights and
Mm-hmm.
maybe what you've been learning as you've gotten into this new role, this new business, this new experience
Mm-hmm.
you're doing. So, um, I want to know about your challenges because entrepreneurship sounds like a lot of fun until you start doing it. And then you're like, holy cow, I'm like everything. I'm wearing so many hats. I'm going to cry, like too many
Right.
hats. So,
Right.
so how have you been overcoming some of those challenges as you've, yeah, as you're getting started?
Yeah. So my favorite part of the question was the like that
Yeah.
noise. Like every entrepreneur is like, yep, that's the noise. That is exactly that, like, oh, this is great until it's not, and then
Yeah, right.
it's great again. Exactly. Exactly. So some of the challenges that I've been experiencing primarily live up here.
Yeah.
Um I I can potentially get in my own way, but one of the things that has been really helpful for me. I'll actually give you two things that have been really helpful for me. The first is getting out of here onto a piece of paper. I actually have this very this journal that is
Oh,
filled with pages and pages
wow.
of my thought process and what's going on. And I wake up each morning and I try to fill 3 pages of a composition in particular as a reminder that I have a learner's mindset. 3 pages of a composition notebook to get whatever is up here just out. Um, Sometimes it's a brain dump. These are all the things I need to do. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Other times it's like I'm kind of aggravated right now and I need to get it out in a really safe place and just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then other times it's reminding me why I'm doing this and how I'm doing this and of those core values that I shared at the very beginning of this conversation. So having that really helps. That's not enough, but that does a lot of the hard work for me,
Mm,
right? Getting it out there. I can write and then calm down and come to center. Some people may just want to take out like their phone and talk into a voice memo as an example. But typically in the first half an hour of your day, if you can get that alone, wake up a little bit earlier because it's worth it to just use that peak moment where all of the chemicals inside your body that get you going for the day are at their best and brightest and help you to think really clearly. But
Sure.
the other thing that's been really helpful for me is the concept that you are the average of the five people that you spend time with.
Sure.
So I have been spending more time with entrepreneurs that are a few steps ahead of me. So Gabby, you in particular have been really helpful for me. We talked about this a little before. I'm going to bring it up again now. Sorry if I make you blush, but you
Yeah.
and I had a great conversation. There she goes. There she goes. You and I had a great conversation a few weeks ago where I was sharing with you some of the things that I was working on, and you leaned forward and you said, "Don't do that work. That's not your best and brightest work. Outsource that to someone else. Don't do enlist enrichment on your own. Don't do research on that particular list that you've created for that thing that you've got going. Give that to somebody else that A is better at the work than you are, and B, that'll free you up to stay focused on the things that you're really good at." That insight was so impactful for me. And now I'm starting to build my own little mini team
Mhm.
that can help me with things like doing research on companies to build a target list, that can do things like I haven't put together a single PowerPoint since I've been doing this because I go to people that love that,
Yes.
that enjoy that, right?
Mhm.
That's not my best and brightest use. I will honestly spend a full day just tinkering with a PowerPoint and then go, where'd the day go?
Yes.
So the other tip that you really made apparent for me in my first few months of getting started was staying in your best and brightest. And sometimes you need those reminders by staying around people like I choose to stay around people like you, Gabby, and keep you
Yeah.
really, really close,
Yeah.
along with other entrepreneurs who have been there, have done that, and can help you see through some of the blind spots. So that's been
Mhm.
tremendous. So my
Yeah.
two suggestions are get the crap out of your head in whichever way you need to. For me, it's journaling, and then sticking around other people who you look up to that can help you to see some of those blind spots.
Yeah.
That's been supremely helpful for me.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. That was very nice of you. But yeah, I do the same thing. I surround myself around people who are doing things differently or thinking about things differently, and you will immediately up level, you know, everything, your experience,
Totally.
the way you think about things. And I think that, for the so many years that I've been in business, the thing that I think I've seen more people fail from is not that they didn't have a good idea or that they didn't have a good product. It was that they either overthought it or didn't execute or had emotional issues or had family issues. Like you had so much, drama and things to get through that it stopped you from being successful.
Mhm.
So, really setting your life up for success is so, so important. And I think it's 90% of the battle, really,
Yeah,
the rest of it
it,
is
it
execution. Yeah.
it really is. I think putting really smart people in your corner is another really critical component, and doing it as early as you can.
Yeah.
Um, Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan in their book, Who Not
Yes.
How,
Yeah.
they say if you can afford to pay for a problem, you don't really have a problem.
Yes.
For us as entrepreneurs, as leaders, when we think that we can afford it, it's not really a problem for us anymore. You
Right.
have to take that leap of faith to say, yep, this doesn't feel comfortable for me, but it's going to help me get to the next level. And
Right.
whether, those entrepreneurs are deciding to bring someone onto their staff,
Mhm.
or they're deciding to work with Mod Ventures and say, this is the expertise that I need to bring in house. And it may not be comfortable for me because, again, if you can afford the problem, you don't really have one.
Yeah.
But to be able to use that expertise to help you get to the next level, I think is instrumental and necessary.
Yeah.
And I think that perhaps I don't know. I'll collect the data as time goes on, but a failure point is saying I'm going to do it all myself. I'm going to figure it all out myself, and then you become a rugged individualist, right? Instead of truly an entrepreneur that is borrowing the expertise of the people around you to keep you in your brilliant zone.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And I've been there on both sides of that. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want to get rid of all of it. I don't want to do any of it myself. And then slowly bring it back. Um, because I didn't have the right people in place. And so I
Yeah.
think that's, one of the really important things that I've learned over time is that you just have to have the right people in place.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not the right fit, then you need to find the right fit, and
That's
not
right.
be afraid to try different things. Um, but you're right, you just got to keep trying and figuring out what's going to work best for you. So, but having the right people on your team is 100% um the number one, I would say number one thing.
Yeah.
Uh, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, now that we're operating in a quote unquote fractional world, or in a world where we've got lots of gig type
Yeah.
people, it's very normal and very safe to start with a very small contained project to prove
Yeah.
out the concept and then grow it and
Yes.
then grow it and then grow it and then grow it. And then ideally you've got a full-time person, as opposed to having to jump into a full-time equivalent right out of the gate.
Absolutely.
Um, so
Hmm.
I'm using that like test and scale approach with bringing people into my business as well.
And truly, that's a best practice.
Yeah.
That is a best practice. That's how you want to test the waters with certain vendors and certain areas that you want to outsource and kind of get off of your plate a little at a
Hmm.
time. Um,
Hmm.
Test projects are a great place to begin. So.
Love it.
Okay, well, Candace, thank you so much for jumping on this call and sharing all of your knowledge and golden nuggets. It's been a pleasure, really. Um, so last, but certainly not least, tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Well, thank you for asking. I cannot believe that time has gone by in the way that
I
I like
know,
looked at the
I
clock and
know,
I'm like, what happened?
I know.
But that's what happens when you're having fun. The way that people can get in touch with me is you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Candice Frazer. You can also go to getalpharev.com and get in touch with me through there. But however people want to get in touch with me, I will welcome a conversation in any way, shape, or form, and be willing to help anyone in their journey, whether it's entrepreneurial on a revenue side, leadership. I just love making connections and helping people get to their next level.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, if you're tuning in, thank you. And lastly, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our content that's coming up. And we will see you next time.